Texas Tech is driving the SEC nuts right now, which I can certainly appreciate. I can certainly appreciate that. And everyone around the country has been asking this question, like, hey, are these new NIL rules enforceable? Can they actually make these be fair market value NIL deals? If they're not, and we're going to live in a world where these things are never really enforceable, the SEC is finding out what that might look like. And then, everybody else in the Big 12, really the whole country, is finding out what this could look like with certain schools who are very well positioned with a big old oil spigot of cash, because we're seeing that with Texas Tech right now. We're seeing that with Texas Tech absolutely driving SEC country nuts. A lot of this starts with my guy, Cody Campbell. I probably can't call him my guy yet, right? I haven't talked to him, but the Big 12, Big 12's best representative on the national stage in college athletics right now, not because of what he is doing necessarily to bankroll Texas Tech, but because he is somebody with a connection to the president who was trying to put him at the head of this Presidential Commission on College Sports, which may or may not happen. But Cody Campbell, multi-billionaire, Texas Tech booster, has been bankrolling the $55 million that Texas Tech paid out to its student athletes this year, which was reported within the last 2 weeks, probably leading the country there. Texas Tech is doing this big, and they are not afraid to go out and take advantage of the rules. And I don't mean that in a bad way, by the way. I mean, just take full advantage of what the system is. And now we're seeing what happens when you do that. So Texas Tech softball, if you weren't paying attention this year, they signed Nyjah Kennedy to a 7-figure NIL deal and then re-signed her to another $1.2 million deal after she almost got them a national championship this year. That made huge headlines. Like, oh man, Texas Tech's willing to put that much into softball. Yeah, that's going to put some schools in a bind, because in this revenue sharing world, 90% of the money is going to football and men's basketball. How much is going to be left over for softball, even for schools that really care about it? Texas Tech has not only picked up Nyjah Kennedy and almost won the national championship, they now have, every single big-time player in the softball transfer portal this year. Here's a little graphic to show you exactly what Texas Tech is doing right now. They've got number 3, number 5, number 6, number 28 in the transfer portal. I believe, when was this graphic? This is June 12th. I think there's another one even after that in the top 10. I think Texas Tech has 4 of the top 10. Red Raider fans, I'm sorry that I don't have that exactly here. I believe Texas Tech has 4 of the top 10 players in the portal, and you see another one there in the top 30 to go along with Kennedy, who's coming back. So Texas Tech is just completely dominating this. They are building a superstar roster. They're building like a Space Jam type of roster here. Jordan, Ewing, who else on that? I guess like Muggsy Bogues. I don't, a dream team of sorts to put together in college softball to try and go out and win a national championship. And people can't handle it, man. There is a lot of Twitter drama. Tennessee's head coach was speaking out on this. And I will say, I'm talking mostly about the money here, but Tennessee's coach, Karen Weekly, said, I think we can all agree on 2 things. Women making money in sports is awesome and long overdue, and contacting players before their season ends and signing them to NIL deals before they enter the portal is wrong. She's saying money, she says, quote, money isn't the issue, tampering is. So some of the issues here are being raised about just the fashion in which this happened, not necessarily just that Texas Tech is throwing around this kind of money. So let's take this in 2 different chunks here. I mentioned and kind of teased out, hey, this is kind of a preview of what people might come to expect if Texas Tech has free reign to just continue spending money like this. They could theoretically do this in a lot of different sports if they really wanted to. I'm going to table that for right now. Let's talk about this tampering thing, right? There's been a lot of discussion about like a traveling team coach that supposedly has been working with Texas Tech to help go get some of these players because he'd be the connection there, and that some of this happened before their season was over and yada, yada, yada. I don't know the specifics of all of that. I have no reporting to give you on all of that, but I don't know. I read a big, long piece, Sports Illustrated, talked to a lot of sources about basically laying out like that's kind of what happened, but it's not against the rules. I mean, from everything I can see, it would tell you that it's not actually against the rules. Like Texas Tech is not breaking rules here. And of all people, for the messenger to be the SEC on like this is an outrage because look at how Texas Tech is taking advantage of this rule and making a mockery of the sport. This is my response. There's that, there's that emoji with the woman going like this. That's my response. What conference has leveraged and twisted rules or gone beyond the rules to leverage and twist whatever it is that they can to their advantage more so than anybody, harder than anybody, better than anybody over the course of time in college athletics, but especially in the last couple of decades? Oh, yeah, that's the SEC. Like pot, meet kettle. What are we doing here? Are we really going to be mad at Texas Tech for taking advantage of this system? It is not Texas Tech's fault that the system exists like this. It is not. It is decades of poor leadership at the NCAA level. There are a number of decisions that have led to this, none of which are specifically about Texas Tech. They're just here taking advantage of where they're at. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Or I used to always hear Danny Parkins, who's one of the best radio hosts in the country, say when he was on his show in Kansas City here, teach me the rules, I'll play the game. Teach Texas Tech the rules, they'll play the game. They're playing that game, baby. The SEC is not used to somebody else deciding to get as low as they might, get down in the dirt the way that they would, try to leverage and bend things as much as they would. Well, now here it is. And you don't like it because it's not somebody that you're used to having to deal with. And it doesn't feel fun. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. There's another one. I'm full of these little colloquialisms today, everybody. They're just playing by what the rules are. How can you blame them? Go get a national championship if you can. Jerome Tang said the same thing, by the way, on the 3Ma podcast, which if you're a K-State fan, you should definitely listen to. But when he came on with us before last season, I know some of you will laugh because of how the season turned out, but he said that about the roster they put together. Hey, we're at a time right now where there's no restriction. Like, we can go buy a national championship roster. Why would we not do that if we can do it? So go try to do it. Texas Tech's just doing it very well and very effectively right now. I thought about this. It's like everybody's always just digging in on what it is that they have as their advantages all the time and playing that up as much as they possibly can. And not everybody has every advantage. Texas Tech, how often, many of you in the chat have probably done this, how often does Texas Tech get crap for like, oh, Lubbock's just out there in the middle of nowhere? Terrible place to go. Middle of nowhere, which Lubbock, by the way, is great. It is hard to get to, but if you've actually been to Lubbock, it's like people who say that have not actually been there. But if you want to say, hey, it's really hard to get to, it's this outpost in West Texas, sucks out there. Texas Tech gets that stereotype, and they get that all the time. But you know what is out in West Texas? Oil. Lots of oil, which means lots of money. And so Texas Tech has some pretty rich boosters because of all that. They don't have the advantage of being in a real sexy, attractive place like Austin or Nashville or wherever it might be. They don't have that advantage. They're not in Columbus, Ohio, a huge major metropolitan area. But what they do have is some oil, and they have guys who are good with it that have a ton of money. And so they're using their advantage. That's their advantage. They're using it. They're playing to it. I don't know. It blows my mind how much of an uproar that there has been about this. And I guess the warning sign here for everybody is this is what it could look like if the enforcement of third-party NIL deals does crumble and fall apart, like many are predicting it will eventually. This is what it could look like. I mean, Texas Tech's already done it. They have the number one portal class in football. They clearly have the number one portal class in softball. And they're not doing too shabby in men's basketball either. They're probably going to have a top 10. I would imagine that Tech team is going to be top 10 preseason when we start the basketball season. Like, get ready. Like, Texas Tech is not afraid to throw around their resources. And you don't have to like that that's the current state and setup of college athletics. But please don't take that out on Texas Tech. I mean, don't take that out that Texas Tech is like ruining the sanctity of the sport or the integrity of what. Guys, that has been ruined by forces that are well beyond Texas Tech. And Tech is just taking advantage of the situation that they have been put in and that everybody has been put in. Okay. So I don't know. I don't think you have to know a ton about softball and a ton about how all this is happening to really arrive at that conclusion. Okay. That would be my take and opinion here. And it is just very rich that so much of this has come from the one conference that, was better than anybody else at doing the under the table bags of cash, that has benefited more from, oh, hey, you're a brand, you have history and tradition, so we're going to continue to boost up your team this year, even if they are not as deserving or as good. Those are the advantages the SEC has played to forever. You're just upset that somebody outside your circle has now found a way to leverage their advantages in a way that makes your life more difficult. That's what's happening here. Good